people. It is July 28th, 2017, and I am extremely depressed. I'm tired from yesterday, but more than anything, I just want to give up. Like, seriously, like, I'm coming to the conclusion that my landlords have been lying to me, that they're playing games, and that they're just trying to find a way to get me kicked out, and they're using the city as a means to do it in partnership. I mean, why wouldn't I feel like that, people? I mean, they obviously don't appreciate the effort that I put in to their yard. Like, we're talking thousands of hours, tens of thousands of hours in the last 7 years just to bring the yard up to the state in terms of being able to plant food, have blueberry bushes growing and that type of thing, right? The greenhouse and, you know, the hen house, aka seedling room, and even the pond, right? Walkways twice, and then just try and maintain on that with the flowers and everything, right? And the dollars that I've spent on it, and whether it's paying men to help with that building of the structures or whatever, or me buying materials, tools, you know, wood, nails, whatever. And just now that it's at the end of the game, I'm almost done. Now that it's at the end of the game, I'm getting pressured to be kicked out. This 3 strikes, you're out. Thinking about it, and it's like, if the city comes to buy one more time after this time, because she kind of backed off on the eviction, right? Because I disengaged myself. I didn't want to argue with her too much because, first of all, I'm busy, and I'm not mad at the landlords, unless, of course, they're instigating this. They want me out so they can rent this house for $2,300 a month. Or 24, just in light of what's going on with the housing market and the fact that these have really nice, you know, the greenhouse and that type of thing. They can get well over 2,000, and if they want, they can ask 24. And people are so desperate for housing, they'd pay it. And they need a man in here, that a carpenter of some kind, to do the minor repairs without having to pay somebody. Somebody fresh that wants to please their family, like I said before. Me, you know, I was fresh, you know. And if they knew the people, my previous landlords, the ones with the Mickey Mouse grow up there, if they knew them because of the same paint, the paint connected them somehow through their temple, right? And they knew I liked doing gardening, and I got somehow subliminally, you know, unconsciously, whatever, redirected into this house because they needed someone in the yard, because they knew I already liked doing yard work, because the last place I was painting and doing yard garden, and, you know, and I painted their porch, and I painted their freaking massive foyer, and, you know, they knew I was a little go-getter in that sense. So what better person to be in this yard, right? And now that the yard is almost done, what better way to get rid of a tenant than to attack them over toys and tell your tenant that you can't have toys, basically. Or anything else for that matter. And if you do get into trouble one more time with the city, 3 strikes, you're out. Next time, for sure, you get an eviction notice. So I'm living on pins and needles. It's worse than a whip on my back now, people. It's worse than a whip on my back. I told her when we were having that little hollering match between ourselves, as I was trying to disengage and go back into washing, right? Because no matter how much she was yelling at me or whatever, and accusing me of this and accusing me of that, the fact remains, I still got the city showing up on Monday on the attack. Right? With their notepad, like a fucking cop.
Are you dead now?
No, I'm not. So I just went back to washing. Right? And then, like I said, my daughter jumped on the bandwagon because her self-esteem is so low, people. Right? It's not easy losing loved ones and then having to grow up as your mother is being smeared.
You done?
Okay, people. So before I start my day in the back, okay, I am going to put the majority of this wood away. City of Surrey's broken dreams. I'm going to take those out, stack them, and get the pallets ready for more cement. Right? In addition to putting these away and those ones away. Because I said to her, I said, you know, because she's going on about, she seems to think the city's going through the whole yard. They're not. They're just dealing with the back. That's all it is. I told her, I said, he just wants to be able to take a picture where it's kind of cleared out and move along. Right? Or at least that's what he's telling me, but who knows? And I said, aren't you, like, happy with the front? No. That side's okay, but not this side. And I'm like, okay, not this side. So I don't know what's wrong with this side coming in from it this way. All right, you can see it's pretty nice. And look at those yellow flowers in the back. Where are they? It's hard to see on this camera. You see them? There they are. And then you've got this. Like I said, it's bee heaven. The bees love it. The monarch butterfly, the dragonflies. Do you see? I just let those things do what they want. Right? But I guess she came up to the door and she's afraid that the city's going to walk through the yard. Now this bucket has some really interesting composting from my neighbor. I asked him how he made it and he told me. So I learned something new. Right? But I guess because she came up to my door when I wasn't home, she seen this and she herself got paranoid. Because it's not just the tenants being harassed here, people. It's the landlords, too. I spoke to another person in the neighborhood, and they were telling me that a lot of people are being harassed. You know, not everybody, like those people in the backyard there in the alley with their junk. But for the most part, there's a lot of people, whether they're landlords or owners or renters or whatever, are being harassed. So, on that note, before I start in the back, just in the event of, but this is not why the City of Surrey is here. They're here for the back specifically, right? So, but I need to put this stuff away anyway, right? And I would really like to get 4 more slabs of cement going, because when I start laying them, it's better to have them, and then you go boom, 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 boom. And next door has also given me some sand. So at some point in the next week, I guess you could say, I'm going to have to get some sand for these things. It's free sand. Hold on. And here's the dirt that my neighbor makes, which is very interesting, and it's made nothing but from wood stumps. They told me how to do it. I'm not really sure where to put the bin in terms of letting it decompose, but it's really, really nice. I like it. So at some point in the future, even though I don't feel spirited about anything right now, you know, because I don't know, she's even talking about, well, I'll give you 1 more year. 1 more year to do what? Finish the job and then kick me out? You just need me in here for the last year just to finish the job. Is that it? Just to finish up with the bricks, get those down in the ground. Because, you know, like, well, there's, this side. And I'm like, yeah, $500 worth of bricks, people. Look at all these bricks.
And videotape Sky's face.
Sky's face. So, like I said, I wanted to take some of these and put them all along the side over there so that when winter comes, right, since I'm laying down bricks, it won't be a mud bath, right? You can have a little path. It doesn't have to be a big one. It could be just the smaller squares, just so that, when you're walking in the winter, going around the house, you're not coming in with muddy boots like as if you were in a freaking marsh. Okay, so I'm going in here. I can't fix that yet. That's another day, and I'm not even going to really do much sawing in the back. Well, I'm not going to do any sawing in the back because I just don't have the energy. But I'm going to get on this side, and I'm going to put the wood in because I'm trying to protect it for the crafts that I'm going to do, right? So hold on. Okay, so if anyone is ever going to attempt to do something like this, just make sure your buckets are clean. Try and take out the dirt, because it's the dirt that attracts the worms that attract the wood bugs and blah, blah, blah. Now, obviously, this stuff is rolling around in the dirt, so that stuff is already primed to create its own habitat. But anyway, it's summertime right now, so this wood will dry fairly well. So this one here is going underneath there. You can see by size, right? Okay, so that's pretty much it, people. I got a fair amount. All right, those are smaller pieces in there. Okay, and then there's some in there. So what I'm going to do, because it still smells like raccoon in here, I'm just going to grab a couple of mothballs. I don't know, I don't normally use mothballs. Might be even a good idea anyway, because this is wood, who knows, right? So if I don't find any, I'll buy a little bag and I'll put 3 or 4 in here just to prevent moths, I guess. And maybe get rid of that raccoon smell. I mean, it's not bad, really strong, but you can notice it. And I'm just going to put this over and then pull that down, and then obviously repairs is a different day, right? And then as I get more situated and finished up in the back, and if the parents allow the other 3 children to do a little wood project, we'll come in here and we'll pick something, and they can make a little wood project along with Andre, right? Most of these are going to be musical instruments. Anyway, be right back. And this is apple. Obviously, I don't want to put it in there until I debark it. And then the bark, what I'm going to do with the bark is I'm going to mulch it the way my Korean friends next door mulch their dirt, along with some other wood products that I have around the yard. I'm going to try that. But this will be another day. I don't want to put that in there like this. So I'm going to debark these and compost the bark in the Korean way. Hold on a minute. See, Andre uses his critical thinking skills. I swear he's going to be an engineer of some sort or an architect. It looks pretty cool. Okay. I know. Yeah, it was easy. I know it was easy for you because you like to do those kind of things. This stuff here, now, this is not the black walnut. This is the English walnut, right? But you can make ink with the black walnut branch, leaves, obviously the husk, right? I'm not too sure about the English walnut in terms of how strong the ink is compared to the black walnut, but this is because they went in there and they chopped down trees and they trimmed these ones, right? So just for a science experiment, when things calm down, I'm going to bring out the old pot and I'm going to boil these up and we're going to see what color ink we get, just for fun. Hold on. Okay, so I have a bag of the English walnut leaves and the branches. I have leaves, a little bit of the black walnut with branches somewhere else in the yard. I think it's in the back. So I'll bag them up and I'm going to put them with the rest of the stuff. Obviously, I'm not going to cook this stuff right now, right? And just so you know, even the roots of the black walnut, roots, leaves, bark, everything, people, everything. I don't, even the shells, right? They will give off ink. And the other thing about the black walnut and the English walnut, do you see this little hole there? You can make actual beads with the bark. Hold on a minute. And then I found some more wood around the yard that was off somewhere else. It's nicely dried. This is really nice and dry. And this stuff is kind of like it's petrified itself. Petrified wood. So that's kind of different. So anyway, I'm put this stuff away. Okay, and just as a final reminder here, there was no shed when I moved in. Like I said, my son dismantled this thing for me, dragged it home, and put it back together, and it's been holding up ever since. So, if I should get evicted, people, for whatever fucking reason, stupid reasons like this, right? You know, whoever moves in, I'm sure will enjoy this shed. Yeah. And then, I still have to wash these things. Okay, people. Now I'm in the greenhouse. Oh my God. I didn't come out here to water last night because I was out till 11 o'clock at night. Look at that. It needs water every day. And I, of course, got up and started running around at 8:30. I should have came out here at least in the morning. But anyway, I got to get on to watering these things. Every day they need to be watered right now because they're producing the food. Right. Oh my. Hold on. Okay, people. I'm having to pace myself here. Kind of sore. Right. Tired. I started at like 9:30 yesterday and went till 11. And then I hung up laundry. I did dishes. Anyway, do you see all those beautiful, beautiful tomatoes? There's some more there, too. Really nice. Some things grew, some things not. Some of the flower buds are falling off. I don't know if it's somebody coming in my yard and picking them off, or if it's just something in the air. My landlady will let me know if well, actually, she didn't really get to plant a garden this year, so. But I'm noticing, like the cucumbers, I've only gotten 2 cucumbers from 2 plants. There's another one growing. They've had more flowers, but the flowers are dying off or dropping off, just disappear, right? But besides that point, I'm happy with my tomatoes. I've been eating them fried. I like them fried, right? This way, too. They're really good. So anyway, I am just going to get the screen. I'm not going to carry the workhorses. My younger daughter offered to help me, so she can help carry the workhorses over tomorrow. Today. For tomorrow. I'm not going to do too much physical labor today, people. I have to work on this shed before I can really put anything away. So, I'm gonna do prep work. I guess you call it prep work for that. Okay. As I'm trying to sit here and muster up some energy to start moving around, I'm thinking, right? And I'm looking, and I'm like, oh my God. I better get this stuff off of here, because, you know, moving things around. That little plastic bin was over there, so rained on, whatever, emptied. Bring it over here. That's just a shelving unit that I can make shelves with, this little metal thing. And obviously I'm going to gather up all this chicken wire, take it to the back. But as I'm thinking about that, I'm looking at this color, and then all of a sudden I get into a panic mode, and I think of Souk. And as soon as I think of Souk, I think the city of Surrey doesn't like color. And I'm like, but if you look at all that, it's all kind of child-related to some degree. That is an umbrella that if I was to do any kind of event anywhere at any time, I would bring that umbrella. The blanket is from my neighbors who gave it to me, that blanket may very well go to a homeless person in the wintertime, because at this point I don't really need it. If you notice, it's in a bag, and once I organize the basement a bit more, because I was doing some stuff, you know, I'm going to put that down there, and whether it will go on a different bed because my daughter moves out, or whether it just stays in the bag and is given to somebody in the wintertime, remains to be seen. And then there's Andre's blocks, which are very, very colorful. Do you see how I'm getting this panic attack? Serious. And he still likes to play with them, and since I'm having another grandson, right? I'm not going to give those away. And then, obviously, one of Andre's toys, but that's kind of hidden behind his shelf, so that one's kind of safe, but I can see it. So, of course, it gives me a panic attack. No, like, how pathetic is that, people? Like, are they... Once I clear out the garage, and well, it's not even the garage, it's the driveway. It's the driveway, right? And if they're using the driveway to get into my garage, to get onto my porch, and then, again, go through the whole fucking yard, because they want to be the Bureau of Land Management. No, that's pretty messed up, people. That's pretty fucking messed up. So what are they going to tell me now? Get rid of this stuff? Donate it? Chuck it out? Well, we know the blanket might get donated. We know that I need those, right? But I can't take them down just yet because I have to move some things around because I pulled out a dresser for my daughter, but she didn't want it. So that's fine. I can use that dresser for something else. But I definitely want those. Okay. Anything to procrastinate, right? Oh, there's my babies. My babies. They're my first year babies. You see that? That's the white oak, and right behind it is a English walnut. Only the English walnuts took. They don't like to be transplanted, and you don't want them to dry out that much, I know. This is a 2-year people. 2-year. Look at that, it's spread out into 2 branches. First year is, let's see if this does this next year. Hold on a minute. First year is 1 branch. Second year, if you notice, went into 2 branches, with a 3rd coming up in the ranks. Very healthy. And it's been in that pot since I transplanted it, so it's not a very large root system. The thing about black walnut is they like to go straight down, so I don't know how well they're going to adapt to these pots. If you notice, I gave them a little bigger pot, right? Than this one. This one can sit in this one probably for a couple, 2-3 years. Well, 2 years for sure, right? If not longer. These ones, hard to say. When they hit the bottom, what are they going to do? Are they going to die? Or are they going to turtle and then go around? Hard to say. I don't know. It's a pesty tree because it gives off those little parachute things, right? But for mulching, it's perfect. You just take the leaves, I read it in a book, people, and you just bury it into your ground at the end of fall. And you could plant potatoes in these leaves as well. Apple trees are very highly sensitive in seed stage, and at this stage with chlorinated water. To be honest with you, I don't even think you can germinate and keep, well, you can germinate maybe, but you can't keep an apple seed germinated alive for very long with chlorinated water. They tend to die off. So that's what I noticed. And then obviously it went into shock at some point, you can see. Now mind you, this thing started sprouting in the summertime, or in the winter, in the middle of winter. It was sprouted in the middle of winter. So maybe its time schedule is a little mixed up. But I would suspect that come fall it will lose its leaves and it will go into dormancy. Kind of like these guys. Alright? And then it will sprout up again, providing it doesn't die. These little guys, well, obviously outside it dried. I stuck it in the ground anyway. I'm curious to see if they take root. There's one there. That one I found. This one was in my pot, and then I've got this other one that's a little more hardier that could be people, it could be branching out. Do you see that? I'm not going to touch it. Plants at this stage are very, very fickle, right? They don't like to be touched, right? At this stage, because they're too sensitive, right? They're just, oh, where is it? Where's my finger? I'm using the camera as a magnifying glass for me. Not for you, but for me. Anyway, okay, I'm going to give these guys some chlorinated water. Oh, wait, no, I got unchlorinated water right there. Yay. And just to show you how prolific the Oh, I'm tired, people. Norway, Nordell, Maple, I don't remember right now. But look, there's very prolific. Look, one snuck itself in. Honest to God, there's a baby. Right there, do you see? There's two. I only thought there was one in that pot. How the hell did two get in there? Anyway, moving along. As I'm doing walnuts, which I'm going to end up doing today, I'm not doing too much heavy labor today, and I'm not staying out till 11 o'clock at night. I'm going to only stay out till about 7 or 8. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to do the walnuts that I've been collecting with Andre, right? So, because they're so immature, I'm just taking the husk. That's all I'm wanting, right? These here, I dehydrated. These ones I dried out. And this will either be used for ink, or preferably, I'm going to see if the raccoons, because once they take away the tree, people, the raccoons aren't going to have a natural dewormer. They're not. And that isn't a good thing because, you know, right? So, being that raccoons seem to nest in my yard, and I feed them from time to time, I'm going to mix this in with their dog food or whatever, right? And chances are they'll eat it. And especially if they cut down the trees, they're going to like it because it will be something that's within their yearly diet, right? Plus, I got a whole bag building of these immature walnuts as I'm taking off the husk. And I'm just freezing them as is. So again, they have a little bit of winter food to keep up with the natural deworming aspect of what a black walnut, or an English walnut for that matter, can do. Okay, change of plans. I'm using that rat-proof wiring, mouse-proof wiring that I bought for the hen house. Thank you very much, Mr. Lace. I miss you too. Anyway, Jerry is good at what he does, so by the time I fit this in up over the seams, it's going to just fit in here quite nicely. He seems to have a knack for that. And I still have one sheet left over, plus all my wire. Right, it's just easier, and I'm tired, and I don't have a lot of time, and it's available, so. The only thing I can't find, people, is my, what is it called? Staple gun. Or my staples that I bought for the staple gun. So I got these little, I don't know what, I guess they're roofing nails or something. I don't know what kind of nails they are, but I'm going to do that, so hold on. Okay, people. I have to work and talk. Time is short. So anyway, like I said, I can't find my staple gun, right? So, and when my daughter gets home after her work, she's going to be seeing me do this, and she'll freak out, people. She'll freak out, literally. She'll be, you didn't do anything in the garage. The city's coming. They're going to take everything. And, oh, you're going to get it. And we just need to move. And I'm so overwhelmed. And she'll get mad at me because I'm putting in to prevent rats from getting in here over the winter, right? Nothing like having a shed that either leaks in multiple places or you come back in the springtime or whatever it is and you find out that the rats were in there, right? Oh, I hate that. So it's worth the, I don't remember how much I paid for these things. I really don't.
We need to go!
But for the convenience of just what I just did right now, in unison with Jerry's mathematical abilities to build things that... Oh shit, I missed it. You know, he tends to build things where things just kind of line up with things that you buy in the store in terms of like 2x10s and 2x12s, just that kind of stuff, right? So I'm going to end up pushing them. I'm probably going to put a couple of pallets in here too, right? But if I put this down, I won't have to worry about the rats nesting under the pallet. Unlike the playhouse, I have to put those chipped cement pieces just to fill up the gaps, right? So, you know, as I'm doing this, you know, like if you notice, I'm being made to feel pretty fucking shitty while I'm doing this. What was supposed to be a good experience has turned out to be another bad experience. I have 1 year left to live here. So how am I going to live here for a year without... Because I think she said something about a year. Just another year of work out of me, that's all it is. Will I pay for it? But I figure it'll take me about 2 days. I'm taking it kind of easy today. This is not really hard to do, right? I'm trying to conserve my energy to have energy to wash tomorrow. Washing is the priority tomorrow. I washed practically all day yesterday, right? And I've been like running on 3-4 hours sleep, right? Every night for the last like 3 nights in a row. So I'm kind of tired, right? I highly recommend this screen, people. I highly recommend this screen if you're making it. Save yourself the stress. Okay. So, since everything has been occurring and I've been thinking about things as they unfold, and the reasons as to why they might be unfolding as the way they are, I'm telling you people, I am going to look at thrift stores in a whole different light after this experience. Seriously, all I can think about is these belong to some man. Well, not these. This was with the chicken wire. But these here, well, this one here, I think I got at a yard sale. But this one, I'm positive it came in one of those bags at a thrift store. And all I can think about is some guy losing his crap because of some city worker coming in and just helping themselves because of stuff like what's going on with me. It's simple. Not everything is garbage, people. It would be very foolish of a human being to throw out very valuable stuff, even if that stuff was mixed up in with stuff that could, go in the garbage can. There goes the camera. There it is. Right, so I'm working with somebody's belongings that maybe not necessarily were donated in the correct manner. Okay, so this is about the hardest part. The reason you use the wire, for the people that don't know, is so that these little buggers can't, what do you call it? Andre, please. Can't,
Is it okay I can make myself sandwich?
can you wait for a minute, okay?
No.
Andre!
No, I'll be...
Anyway, I gotta go make him a sandwich here in a minute. This is, I would say, probably the hardest part. I think I need some pliers just to get it. Pliers would be good. So I gotta go get some pliers. So when I go get some pliers, I'll make him a sandwich. And then you just gonna have to run it through about every inch or so, right? So just so it doesn't move, right? Stays. You make a seam, that's what you're doing. You're making a seam so little buggers, they can't sneak in, right? See, there we go. And just do it in strips, right? It doesn't have to be one long length. You'll be just frustrating yourself with it, right? There you go. You don't need too many loops, because the more you loop it, the more you'll use. I'd just say about every inch or so. So, this might take up most of my day, people. So am I in trouble again? Like, seriously, you tell me why I should feel like I'm in trouble. Right? What kind of bullshit is that? You know, it's serious. What kind of bullshit is that? So, I'm gonna get myself some pliers. Probably needle nose. Alright. Just finish this up. And then once I get this in, I'm gonna spray down, I'm gonna fix my water hose. That's the next thing. So I can put on a nozzle. I have to put on an attachment so that I can add an extension hose on, right? Onto the hose that I have so that I can use a nozzle. Ugh. There we go. Now a man would just pull that, but a man is stronger than me. So I kind of have to work my way through it, right? And then I'm going to spray down the pallets just because, right? A little bit. A man wouldn't. I would, just because I know this dirt's not going to get, what do you call it, wet. So because of that, you're not going to get a lot of worms eating the wood, because worms need moisture. So there tends to be a little bit of moist, what do you call it? Dirt on one pallet that I have. I have other ones in my backyard. So depending on if I don't know if I'm going to use the whole floor as a pallet, from corner to corner with pallets. I might just do half a floor with pallets, and then the other half will just be straight up plywood of some kind, depending on how level it is, right? Just over the screen. The pallet is just supposed to, for me, is to give me, what do you call it? Durability, right? That it can hold the weight. So if I start putting the bookshelf on, and, you know, in boxes, and it starts getting heavy, you don't want just a thin piece of plywood down, because that's not going to hold the weight, right? You want a nice sturdy pallet, which I have like 2 of them, nice ones, real nice ones, in the back that I just got like a couple of months ago. And then I've got another one right there, plus I've got some stuff over here. So I've got enough anyway to make a subfloor here. Oh my, look at that, people. Just as I'm washing, they're tossing. Okay, people, so as I'm doing this, I'm thinking, right? Always thinking, right? And what I'm thinking about is, you know, there's certain people, right? Like, even like yesterday, this woman, you know, she's talking about, because I'm saying I can't leave, I don't want to leave, I got nowhere to go, like I've spent so much time out here that, you know, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, well, but you do realize that, you know, one day in the future, they're going to be tearing this all down and, you know, building these condos, right? I've been listening to this ever since I moved in. And I'm like, yeah, I do realize that. I've heard about it. And I know they're trying to rip down those walnut trees. Obviously, I can't get to that, what is it called? Public hearing. Because I'm busy, right? I was going to try and get to the public, I'm doing a video. I was going to try and get to the public hearing and voice my opinion on about these trees being cut down. So anyway, because they're, you know, they're building that stuff over there, and because they're building that over there, you know, there's people who are saying, you know, that down this way it's going to be the same thing. But that's not going to happen for a while, and if people are that gullible to be held hostage to that what if, you know, it could be another 5-10 years. I heard that, I'm doing a video, sweetheart. I'm doing a video. I heard over there with the field where I wanted to do that park, when I first moved in 7 years ago, that they were going to start building high-rises or something. and they were taking people in busloads to go look, as if they were gonna make the buildings, and you know how they sell them first before they make them. And it's sitting empty. Last I heard is the city harasses the owners or the property management or whoever, property owners or whatever, like all the time about cutting down the grass and cutting the trees and keeping the homeless out and just the whole 9 yards, right? They've been fined after fine after fine after fine, right? So, you know, when is that going to be built? Who knows, right? So it's not. And then as I'm sitting here and I'm doing this and I'm thinking, and I'm like, okay, so it's just this street. It's not that house right there with the fence. I don't see them panicking, right? I mean, everybody down the road, they kind of know that at some point it probably happened. Something's going to happen because long-term plans, the blueprints, because I had at one time a realtor come, was at my door and was talking to me about these blueprints, right? She was supposed to give me a copy of these blueprints, but she never bothered to come back, so whatever. For the long-term development plan for in terms of the high-rises where they're going to use the green belt as a nature park that even today the raccoons don't want to live in for whatever reason. So I don't know what kind of nature park it's going to be when raccoons don't even want to live in it. And they're always forcing out the homeless people. Right? Like, the reality, the perception of reality is so warped. Oh, there it is. Nothing I can do about that, people. But as I was saying, the perception of reality is so warped. You know, people's perception of reality. And, you know, they're trying to evict me based on a maybe that might happen when. Because like I said, those people next door, they're not in no hurry to move out. Right? The people that just bought this house over here, they're not in a hurry to move out. They're in a hurry to move in and live their life. Live their life. Not tear it apart. Right? Same thing with the people down the road here, on this side, on my side. Same thing with the people down over there. So anyway, I said, yeah, I know, I'm aware of that. But I honestly don't think it's going to happen in a year from now. And if this shit starts up again in a year from now because of something in the yard where I can't live my life, people, under the conditions that I'm living under, you know, let's say I'm doing that finally I'm doing that carving with Andre, you know, and I've got wood out in the grass and I leave it out for one night or a couple of nights or a week or something because I'm taking off the bark, because at some point I'm going to have to take off the bark. So whether I do it in the front or whether I do it back here, which should be safe, you would think. I mean, is that going to be strike 3? Right? So they can scare the next person that moves in by telling them, oh, yeah, you can rent it now. You can rent it now. But sooner or later, they're going to be tearing down the building. And then in 5 years from now, after they rent it, you know, they're still talking about the house is being torn down because they want more rent and they want to kick out that family because that family can't afford any more than what they're already paying in 5 years from now, based on that house over there, which is like a $400,000 house including the property, selling for $3 million in 5 years. Now, what kind of perception of reality is that, people? Like, seriously, like, there is no rhyme or reason to it other than it's being fabricated through, obviously, the realtor market, right? Realtors are doing this in partnership with politicians for that tax base, right? And again, they don't care what happens to the people that they toss out for profit. Am I saying that's what my landlady's doing? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that's what's going on, though. Most definitely, because, you know, I'm not going to be held hostage. I mean, it was bad enough, move in, take it now. You know, if you don't take it now, you lose it. But if you take it now, I'll never raise the rent, right? Stay as long as you want. Because they were looking for a stable family, you know, old people, mother on welfare, steady incomes, right? Wouldn't complain too much because it was a large family, so it'd be too hard to move. They're serious, right? And then, I don't know, BC Liberal government was corrupt. They brought in a lot of corruption. Not only did the drugs explode in the community for some strange reason, all of a sudden, out of the blue in the last 16 years, but more and more people are homeless. More and more people can't afford anything, right? It's just more and more people are drug addicted, needles everywhere now, right? As they're playing the house games with the 1.2 million, you know, raised the rent because it's sold for 1.2 million, rented out to somebody for 6 months, telling them they can only live there for 6 months because the block is being torn down, put the house up again for sale, you know, for 1.5 million, kick out those tenants so that the new tenants pay more rent, right? Because I'm at 1,700 versus 2,000, and they know they can get 23 on mine because of the greenhouse and whatnot. I'm not that gullible. Right? I'm not that gullible. If there was such a mad rush of tearing down all these houses so that nobody could live in them currently, those people would be mad dashing. Those people over there, right? They're not mad dashing because the house is being torn down. They're mad dashing because they're getting old, right? And they're being told that in 2 years from now they get to move into a new house. So who knows where they're going for 2 years. I'm just saying. So when they're trying to scare me, oh, they're going to tear down the house. When? 10 years from now? Do you honestly think I want to live with this kind of grit and whatever? Never mind the harassment. And I only get one more chance. So I'm already set up to fail. Because this dude showed up out of freaking nowhere, right? All of a sudden, out of the blue. Okay? Very convenient, don't you think? Right? Anyway. Okay, so I highly recommend using this stuff if you know how to use it correctly. If you notice, it's pretty much flush to the wall there, but obviously I'm not thinking, maybe because it's pretty flush there, that's why I wasn't thinking about it. But I didn't drop it down and make it flush in here, so now it's taunt. So I think what I'm going to do, and it gets worse. So maybe what I'll do is I'll start cutting, snipping here, because that's there anyway, right? Just snip here, and then that gives me about 1.5 inches, not quite 2, to bring it down, and then just hammer it into there to fix my mistake, right?